Weed lines. Which side of weed line should you fish? Good morning, guys and girls. Good morning. We're going to be looking at Joshua 1:9. Joshua is one of my favorites. I love Joshua. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. That's one of the great scriptures from Joshua right there. Joshua and Caleb were two tough guys in the Bible. I mean, they were champions. They were warriors. They were fighters. Caleb, went 40 years in the desert. And when he got ready to conquer the land that God had given him, he was just as strong and just as virile. And he was like maybe 75, 80, 85, 90 years old. So he's my hero. Joshua 1:9 says, "Don't be afraid, because the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." Do not be afraid, because the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. During a tournament practice one time on Lake Russellville in Georgia, Chris and I had caught several good bass, up to 7 pounds, on a couple of bridge crossings. We caught these fish buzzing a spinnerbait just a few inches below the surface around the riprap on the points of those. If you got a bridge crossing, you generally have 4 points there that you can concentrate on. During the tournament, this didn't work at all. I started slowing down my bait until finally I was literally crawling that spinnerbait along the bottom. Bang! The fish finally bit the bait. I caught a great limit every single day. I didn't need to run all over the lake the fish were there all along. I just needed to adjust to them. Jesus is always right there with us, no matter what changes around us. We must not fear. God will provide, and he is anxious to do so. God will provide, and he's anxious to do so. We just might need to adjust our attitude just a little bit. Just adjust our attitude just a little bit. That tournament was a great tournament, and it was so wild because it was around during turkey season. And I'd actually, during that tournament practice, Roland and I used to go and we'd wear a camo during tournament practice, and we would turkey hunt if turkey season was on. And Lake Russell had a lot of just public land around it and a lot of turkeys, and we really had a great time turkey hunting. And the crazy thing about the very best spot I had, the very best bridge, I had 2 of them. It was really good. They were about 3 or 4 miles or 5 miles apart, so if I wanted to, I could run back and forth from one to the other. Quite a few other bridges I couldn't get a bite on. But that best one, if I would call turkeys, there would be one gobble at me every single time I was there. And then I pulled in there one morning, and I heard him gobble and gobble and gobble and gobble. And then I heard some roosters crowing and some dogs barking. He was up there in somebody's yard all along. Yeah, Jimmy, the great white turkey caller. All right, let's look at our tip this week. Weed beds. Where do you fish on weed beds? Fish both the inside edge and the outside edge of weed beds. That's right. Many, many times, particularly if those weed beds are submerged. Now, if you got weed beds like we've got right now, you can look around the lake. We've got weed beds, and the inside of the weed bed is actually up against the bank, so that's not what we're talking about there. But now we've also got weed beds that's out in the middle of the water that have edges on both the inside and the outside. Submerged weed beds. What you want to do on a submerged weed bed is you want to make sure you fish both. Generally, the inside edge is generally shallower. Not always, but generally it's shallower. Generally, the outside edge is by a drop-off. Normally, that's the best. However, many times I've found that they're on that inside weed line, and you can actually be fishing the same weed lines other people are fishing and not getting a bite, and you find the fish on the inside, and you can catch them on the inside. Weed lines, great thing to fish this time of the year, great places to fish any time of the year. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one today, because it's going to be a great day. Remember, I love you.